I'm genuinely terrified for this next generation of children. I decided to work at a summer camp this year, and I didn't understand.
Quickly building big social media followings on accounts run by their parents.
First up, my bronzy and my goldie
Color is my shirt.
Tienes una camisa roja, una pinche cabezota.
Oh no.
So today I want to talk about the non-chalant pandemic, aka nobody wants to try anymore.
Get your fucking ass up and work. It seems like nobody wants to work these days.
That's so true.
But today I want to talk about how social media and technology is playing a role in like our self-identity and who we are as like people. So the first topic I want to talk about is consumerism versus authenticity. Now, being consistent and authentic definitely is a yin and yang type situation. I, for one, know that for a fact because I'm extremely inconsistent. But every time you like upload or whatever, or like are on social media, you kind of give a piece of yourself like away to like whoever the audience you're trying to reach. So I want to talk about how whenever you're in that situation where you have to be consistent and like post, you have to give a bit of like your authenticity, and like with everybody's attention span being like fried because of TikTok, if you're not on the next best thing, then you're not going to stay relevant. You're not going to grow, like whatever. Okay.
Why would a man be there? Why would a man be there? No, it's actually pissing me off.
I don't know if I explained this good enough, but what I meant by that is basically with low attention spans and the high consumerism like society we live in today, it's very hard to stay authentic while also staying irrelevant. Especially whenever you're starting out. A prime example of this is YouTube. Like, for example, for me, trendier topics will just do better. Like, they'll get more views because they're, with the high consumerism society we live in, that's like the next best thing. You know what I mean? So that's what I was trying to convey in this. I'm not really sure that came across, but that's like what I meant by all this. Lower attention spans, high consumerism society versus like authenticity and staying relevant. And it's funny because we value people who have authenticity and people who have like a self-worth. And a perfect example of this is Addison Rae.
Hi.
By the way, I can make a whole entire video about her because I knew right when she released Diet Pepsi that she was one for the books. But even her becoming more like her like authentic self, or taking this more like original like persona, is 100% helping her. Because if you told me back in 2020 I'd be listening to music that Addison Rae was producing, I'd be like, okay, like what? Because I didn't even care for Addison Rae in 2020. But where she's been able to be so authentic and like herself, it feels real. Like if like you like want to follow her, like you want to like see like what she's doing next. But she's able to do that because of her upbringing and how she had to kind of go through that trendy phase where she had to like build, is it rapport? Is that the right thing? Like build up like a following. And plus, whenever you're authentic, you are in this rat race, so you feel like more like self-worth. So I know for a fact she's probably like thriving right now because she's not having to do stuff she doesn't even like. But I also want to bring up two examples, Ariana Grande and JoJo Siwa recently. Now, I think we all can attest to that Ariana Grande has had like different phases throughout like her career and kind of like different personalities. And I think that really has to stem from the fact that she's grown up in the industry. Like, she was really young and she's had all these external factors on like how she should behave, how she should act, like who she should be and all this stuff. But from going from childhood TV to becoming a national superstar, she's always been in the spotlight in some kind of area, whether that be for film or singing or acting. Like, she's always been in the spotlight. Whenever you have all these external factors playing into like how you should behave, how you should look, how you should act, you definitely lose a sense of self and like who you are as a person. You're not really able to develop that, especially being young, and that being such a critical time to develop your personality and who you are as a person. And even people who have spent time whenever they were young and developed a personality and like who like they think they are, who they are, even they struggle with self-identity. I mean, I think everybody to some point struggles with self-identity and who they are as a person, just because it's so easy from external factors. But I did want to bring up Ariana Grande because she has been somebody that we have seen the impact from social media on somebody with how they carry their self and their self-identity. But I also want to talk about, not that I'm diagnosing or alleging that Ariana Grande or JoJo Siwa has this, but I do want to talk about, in psychology class, I learned about DID, or dissociative identity disorder, and it's really interesting to see the different theories that philosophers or psychologists have on like why this happens. And one of those being social cognitive theory, which basically means to do to a high result of high suggestibility and basically role playing. And like with actors, for example, actors set the role play, take on a whole entire new persona of who they are trying to like portray themselves as and be in the TV show or movie or film. And I think we can definitely make connections with that in like the social media aspect and like all of that. I would like to read up on the case study or something like that if somebody has made those connections between identity and like social media, because I feel like it's a pretty, not that it's like a common thing, but I feel like it's a pretty like kind of like a given. Like you kind of already assume like, well, yeah, so of course social media plays a role in like your identity. Yeah, I'm not diagnosing Ariana Grande or JoJo Siwa or even a legend that they even have a DID, but I just wanted to bring that up because I thought it was interesting, and I think we can definitely make connections between social media and that. If any of the information is wrong about dissociative identity disorder, then feel free to correct me. I learned it in my dual credit psychology class this year, and I thought it was really interesting, and I just want to bring it up because one of the theories is high suggestibility. Moving on to JoJo Siwa, I saw recently that JoJo's being a lot of backlash because apparently she's with this one guy from I guess Big Brother. Is it UK Big Brother? I don't even know. But she's with this one guy. Like they Loki kind of had like a little bit like a love story with like them like falling in love, like the reality TV show, whatever. So it actually would be kind of funny to like go back and like see it happen live in action. But JoJo Siwa's getting backlash now about it was all like a performance and she switched her sexuality, now she's straight, whatever, and all this stuff. And first off, I have to laugh because like, are we talking about the same JoJo that got interviewed about politics?
Tic-tac question for you. Do you think every liberal Democrat should take home a migrant to show their support
for the local JoJo!
And about the government? Like, first off, I don't think it really matters who dates who at the end of the day, but at the same time, I think this also stems the same thing as Ariana Grande from being young in the industry, because even JoJo was young. She used to be a dancer, then she even done singing, and she done a bunch of like brand deals and merch and everything. Like, whenever you hear JoJo Siwa, you already have like an idea of her, basically. Kind of like it's not even like JoJo herself, it's a whole entire another like entity or whatever, I guess. I don't know. Or like persona. But I think it also stems from being so young and being in the industry, and maybe even, which is my opinion, that maybe even she could struggle from identity, because I think everybody struggles from identity, but I think even more so people who have been in the public's eye from such a young age. And who really cares if she's figuring out who she is as a person, because like that's her business, like that's not ours. And she maybe never even got the chance, because where she grew up in social media being so young, she never even got the chance to explore and see like what she really liked and who she really was. And I also think too that social media is a place where to survive, you have to know who you are. If you get on social media and you aren't firm in your belief on who you are as a person, you can be very easily swayed. And even with cancel culture, you can also be very like, I don't know, like if you just don't know who you are as a person, basically, and if you aren't firm in like your beliefs, like whatever, like your self identity, then it's very, very easy for you to pick up on other people's habits and just like, I don't know, like it's very like, to survive on social media, you have to know who you are. We've even seen JoJo Siwa and Ariana Grande get backlash for things that really are attributed to personal growth. Granted, some things are fundamental. Like, there's some things in life that should not change. Like, I know Ariana's had a bunch of phases with race and everything like that, and like ethnicity, and I don't like that I don't know what's even, I can't even get into that because that's a whole other thing within itself. There are some fundamental things that I think definitely are developed in early childhood that stay with you throughout the rest of your life. So if you don't have that time to really develop yourself in early childhood, then you kind of go the rest of your life without really knowing. But things like interests and hobbies and even like beliefs and stuff like that change over time from yourself and external factors. Like stuff like that's normal to change, like have a different interest or hobby. But there definitely is a deeper level on like who you are as a person and all that you definitely have to know. And if you don't know it, then you kind of get eaten up on TikTok, social media, like whatever. That brings me to my main point of this talk, is about Gen Alpha, social media, and self-identity.
I'm genuinely terrified for this next generation of children. I decided to work at a summer camp this year, and I didn't understand.
Quickly building big social media followings on accounts run by their parents.
First up, my bronzy and my goldie dress.
Color is my shirt.
Tienes una camisa roja y una pinche cabezota.
Oh no.
Now first we have the iPad kids. I myself was an iPad kid. I'd be on the front lines for the iPad kids, actually. Like, I'd always be defending iPad kids. But we have iPad kids, you have Sephora kids that are already getting into skincare. It's like, what? It's like, I didn't know nothing about skincare until I was like, what, 2-3 years ago? When I was getting acne or whatever, and like I had to like worry about that. And now you have VR and gaming. Like, yeah, whenever I was a kid, I used to game, but I didn't like, I was an iPad kid, I used to game like whatever, but I didn't have like the VR and all that stuff. AI, all the stuff with the AI going on right now. And all those things, playing games, being on the iPad, watching YouTubers, all that stuff shaped me as a person. Not entirely, but it definitely did play a heavy influence on who I am as a person. But even social media, I didn't put myself on social media until I was like 12, I think. Or like 11. And that's because they're like 8 or 9 putting themselves on social media. And I also developed hobbies whenever I was young, like not really with social media. Like I used to make slime, I painted, I did photography of like taking photos of my toys. Like I did like the role playing, like the playing house, like all this stuff, whatever. And kind of got that social aspect, like that human to human aspect and like social interaction. But I went to my nanny's on the weekends. Like I was able to develop my own kind of self and like what interests me, like who I was as a person. And I developed with and without internet and like social media and all that. So I kind of had like the 50-50. I kind of had like the balance between like the both of them. But with the generation coming up with Gen Alpha, I don't think there really is that barrier anymore between internet and no internet. It's kind of all being intertwined. Like I saw my little cousin 2 weeks ago outside playing VR with this headset, and I was like, that's, to me, like, granted, I'm a very like sentimental and very like philosophical person, so I'm like, that's so like dystopian to me, like seeing like the VR headset outside like the grassy fields or whatever. But the internet's kind of everywhere, especially with future generations coming up. Like a phone's become a necessity now to have just to survive, and people following trends being young, like all the Sephora stuff with the get ready with me and everything like that. There really isn't any like individual hobbies, and like people, I don't feel like people are really like, are like developing like their own like interests, and like, because that's a big part of your self-worth and your self-identity, and like who you are as a person is like your hobbies, like what you choose to spend your time to do. And I think we'll definitely see the effects of social media and self-identity and individuality more so than ever with the upcoming generations. But that leads me on to my next and final topic, which is hobbies have become performative. Now, I said in like a past video, I said I would make a video kind of like this, which is kind of like the video, because I didn't want to make a whole entire video just about hobbies becoming performative. Granted, I probably could, but I feel like it's more of like a subheading than the actual like heading of a whole entire video. But I feel like with hobbies becoming performative, we've had this like TikTokification of like talent, and we've made hobbies for performance. Granted, there is some natural hobbies that are performative and like on the more so side of performative and like having others view it than like more like yourself. But even now, a lot of hobbies that weren't so performative have become performative. Like a good example is like journaling, for example. Like there's a fine line between sharing for the purpose of sharing and sharing for the purpose of, look at my accomplishments, look at me, look what I'm doing. In journaling, I personally don't journal that much. I've been trying to journal, but I always see people like journaling. And to me, journaling is a very good hobby because it is very non-performative. It's very like to yourself, like you like writing your own journal for like yourself, nobody really else to see it. And there's something so beautiful in that. There's something so beautiful in the fact that you're making something that's just for yourself and like nobody else to see or hear, compared to, there's this one trend on TikTok talking about media I've consumed today trend. And I can't lie, I kind of like the trend, which contradicts everything I'm even saying in this video. But I mean, I like the trend because it's entertaining. But at the core of it, it's like we've lost the plot. Like, why are we showing people like the media we've consumed today? Like, we've actually lost the plot. Like, what are we talking about? But a lot of hobbies really aren't supposed to be performative. And we've made such a beautiful thing and have made it for others when they're meant for ourselves. And on top of that, with TikTok and everything, we also think back to the non-chalant pandemic, that we have to be good at a hobby to do it, basically. Like, oh, we have to be good at painting to paint. We have to be good at an instrument to play an instrument. We have to be good at drawing to draw, like whatever. And it's like, that's the problem with social media, is we think we have to be a certain thing for like journaling. Like, for example, for journaling, I thought I had to journal every single night. It took me a long time to break this spell of like, I can do what I want. Like, if I want to journal tonight, I'll journal tonight. If I want to journal in 3 weeks from now, I'll journal in 3 weeks from now. Like, it shouldn't have to be, it should be fun, it should be interesting, like it should be for myself. Like, it shouldn't have to feel like a task, basically. Like, I have to do it. And the generalization with TikTok and how we're all becoming kind of like copy and paste of each other, we're losing that authenticity and that individuality. And that's why I feel like in today's age, so many people are like just boring. People are just boring. And like, whenever you come across an interesting person, they're so interesting, and they're so much more interesting than they naturally would be, just because of social media and everything else that have influenced our minds or whatever to be a certain way. And like we're all becoming like minions, and like the further you go down, like even Gen Alpha, I feel like one of those like boomers that are like one of those like older generations that are like, oh, these kids today's technology ain't the same like it used to be. But I'm coming from, because like granted, I think technology is very good. I do think it's very good, but I think especially the younger you go down, the younger you're exposed to technology. If it's not monitored, if you don't have that balance, you're going to be very, very easily lost in who you are as a person and what really interests you. Another example is even with the TikTok ban. Whenever TikTok got whenever TikTok got banned, I was very taken back by it because I felt so empty without it. I was like, what do I do now? I was like, yeah, I got like 5 to 6 hours of my life back every day, and I was kind of excited about that. But it was kind of like, well, what do I do now? I was like, I miss scrolling on TikTok. And looking back on it, it's like, why did I miss that so much? It's like, yeah, it definitely was a loss of community and freedoms, but the way I went about it was kind of like, I felt like I become less interesting. Once I was like, I don't really have any like hobbies or nothing that I really make me interesting. Like my TikTok and my humor and all that is kind of like what I've been thriving off of for the past couple like years. And it's crazy because it's like, when did this happen? Like when did I stop becoming interesting? I was like, I thought I was an interesting person, and I still think I have a lot to work on. But I think especially there is a lot of people that are just boring, that are literally just boring. I'm like, there's some people in my life that I have no interest of getting to know because I don't see myself, my aspirations, my goals, like whatever in them at all. And I think a portion of that, especially the younger we're going to see in the future generations, is going to be stemmed from social media and how that's played a role on individuality and who people are as people, basically. So basically that's all I wanted to yap about today, was about the non-chalant pandemic and basically about social media, self-identity, to Gen Alpha, to hobbies becoming performative. And I truly believe that technology and social media is a good thing at its core. At least I'm tricking myself into hoping it is. That it does bring a sense of like community and connection over how vast and big the world is. But it's really up to us and the individuals to keep our individuality and keep like traditions, keep self-interest, keep hobbies, keep things that make us us, because people are just so boring now. Like people really are. And like even I'm boring. There definitely is some aspects I think where I'm not boring, but I think I'm definitely not at my peak of like interestingness. Like I definitely could be more of an interesting person. But yeah, social media is so alluring, and that's why it's so easy just to like fall in the trap of like, oh, like what's the next best thing? Like what are people doing? Like what's kind of like the trendy? Like what's kind of like going on, whatever. Even like with fashion, for example. How much are trends of fashion, how that has a play on how people present themselves. But definitely in the future, I'm gonna make this video now, so maybe in like 2 more years, whenever AI is taken over and we've all become minions, I can look back on it and be like, it's so stupid. I could look back on it and be like, that was it. That was the last chance we had. No, but I definitely think that it's going to definitely be interesting to see the play between social media and self-identity, especially the more and more we get infatuated with technology and social media and all that. That's just my take on it. Comment down your take below about social media and self-identity and what you think is going to really happen, because genuinely I don't know, but I do know for the fact that kids are getting younger and younger using social media, and if it's not balanced correctly, then social media can definitely be a very jarring place. Like you can lose a lot of yourself on social media. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next Saturday.